How's it going, everybody? It saddens me to inform you that last night, between the 11th and the 12th of January 2023, my mother passed away. I want to thank anybody that's ever loved my mom and been her friend, confidant, lover, and everything in between. Anybody who knows my mom deeply and truly can honestly say within their heart that she has affected their lives and or their life in some of the most positive ways imaginable. My mother was a very spiritual woman, deeply enrooted in her Native American, you know, genealogies and informing people of their spiritual essence. She has been charitable. Her integrity and her soul and essence lives in every single person that has ever came in contact with my mom. One thing I can honestly tell you my mom has taught me is to have an open heart and never be afraid to get out there and meet new people and have a good time. Experience life to the fullest. My mom was adorable in her aloofness. She was clumsy, you know, but she was never afraid to live. She's touched so many lives and different avenues than if you could take a step back and really look at them all. She has been, a sophisticated woman talking to sophisticated people, going all the way down to, people that, had drug problems or felt that they had no worth of, existence possible. And she saw the best in them and brought out the best in them. She is a warrior in sorts. Uh, she's one with Christ, one with the spirit of all, one with her natural tribe. She has friends that she has influenced and touched throughout the entire world through her games and being on the internet and having all these friends. We were never one to experience a life of riches and giant estates, but we've experienced the essence of people who have, to say that we have been to the tops of and the heights of all mountains, to the lowest of valleys, to experience what it's like to suffer but yet make the best of life with festivals or parties and camping and gatherings of friends and making some of the most beautiful memories. As being her child, one could only expect of how a mother should be. And sometimes mothers and fathers don't always live up to the expectations to form a child to the way that they wish that life could have been. But yet, it's those experiences that form the child into exactly who they are. And if you took those away, you wouldn't be who you are. My mother was a great mother because she was the mother I needed, maybe not always necessarily the one that I wanted. And she taught me how to be who I am. Many nights we would sit around talking either on the phone or with each other about life and pondering over our events and experiences and whether we should regret them, and even discussed a lot of our regrets and learned forgiveness. I've learned patience with my mom and will now go further into myself to understand it deeper. But yet, embrace also who I am through her. There is actually a GoFundMe account being set up. It's to help with the funeral expenses, or necessarily actually the cremation expenses. And I guess when she filled out the policy and the terms and conditions, it didn't cover the full cost of the urn that she had originally set out. She would also like her ashes to be scattered back on her mother's estate in Maine and a few other places throughout Maine like the Hiram Falls, Sun Valley Drive, where she spent some of her greatest years with her ex-husband, Lenny Martell. Um, and, throughout Maine, some areas that she held sacred in her heart. Me and my brother are going to get together and do these things together if that's the will of the way, but these are things that we're facing right now, and also going through some of her belongings. And to anyone who wants to send their condolences, we love you so much. And I just want to thank again all the people that have truly been a part of my mom's life, and not the judgment of family or those walls that we have created in our illusions of family, but I mean the complete strangers that have become family in her life. Those people. My mom is an impeccable woman. Growing up the way that I did, I look back on it now as like her little sidekick, and we would go to behind the barn parties and all these amazing powwows together. We had met complete strangers out of nowhere that became lifelong friends, just out of nowhere. And that's how my mom was. It wasn't about the higher echelon of elitist mindsets that she held. This woman was a divine, fairy or goddess. She called herself the fire dancer. She, walked around a fire dancing shamanistically. She truly held on to those deep, divine, natural roots of, she was proclaimed, and not just self-proclaimed, a real, true, you know, divine witch in a way. My mom was very much a deep spiritual woman, and she held on to those roots is what made her connect with people so deeply. So to the ones that judge her, you have to live with that inside yourself, because really, there's nothing wrong with my mom. There was something wrong deep inside yourself that you were missing. And I'm going to say to you, hats off, and I forgive you, and may you learn to forgive yourself. My mom has touched so many lives, and I'm going to rejoice in her existence and celebrate her existence. And my plan today was to go live and have a ceremony with some friends online to, spend time with her, but she passed on. So this is the video. If you'd like to help out or anything, please message me, message my brother, Lon Siebert II, and it would be a great honor to hear from you and to be able to follow through with not only her wishes, but even yours, and to make sure that everybody has a final rest and peace within their self. And I just want to thank you guys for viewing. It was not easy to do this. Thank you. Dona de Gohai, which means till we meet again.
What do I need to do? He will do it. That's what he's saying. We know the journey that we need to go on. Us Jules, and most of that is all together. There's some things that I won't be able to do with you, just as there's some things that Seneca will not be able to do with you.
I'm trying to say that if you have an
to do for himself that you can't do for him. That's what he's saying. You have to take the reins on what you feel you need to do in this moment.
One of the things I realized, and it was very hard to, is that the expectations that I have of others is me. I cannot allot this to other people. And when I got here on December 26th at 9:16 p.m., it was a lot to already process that had nothing to do with me before I got there. There was already wheels in motion in their own momentum. Am I wrong? Okay. So then the expectations that I could have, I would have to then look back and say, well, that wasn't upon me. That's the job that I would assign myself, because those are the expectations that I supposedly have on others. So I just stated that whatever expectations you have of this situation, because it's been out of my control from this moment forward, and I said I wanted to take it one day at a time, and everybody else has somehow put me in the future, or they've already estimated the future before it's got here, and congratulations, I'm glad everybody is in their own space of wherever this is. But see, that's why I was sitting there saying, we're talking like mom's dead before she's dead. That bothered me. Now she's passed away. Now I'm going to experience what that means for me. And so we're all in control of each other, and that's really the truth. And so I'm going to go back now and take a process. I thought before you got here, I had kind of no real understanding of what was going on. I didn't know if I was going over your house, we were solacing each other, or what was going on. Was I going over to see mom? Now I'm finding out we're not going to see mom. Okay, then it was about other things that have really a place that I'm not ready to be in yet.
Well, that's what I was saying. If you want
Okay.
to see her, I can call them.
And
That's
they
what
would
we
let
were.
us see
We were
her.
basically coming here to rendezvous. The pictures are for obituary
Well, you had the
purposes.
picture that you stated. I think you're going to go with, or
Well,
and
it was
again,
also I wanted your approval because
Okay.
Y'all are in this
I
together.
cannot
It's-
make these decisions anymore by myself. Thank God. Thank fucking God. Finally, this is not just on my plate, because it has been since all this has came about. You know, I mean, granted, yeah, I've had emotional support, but really has been on me, and that ain't to make anybody feel bad. It's just the reality of it. Laura went through that shit with her mom, so I am actually relieved that mom wanted you and me to do this together, because I can't do it on my own anymore, especially this part.
you're not doing it alone. You haven't been alone the entire time. You've had your wife right there.
You're
So
no, you're missing it.
actually, I'm not. I've been alone this whole time. And now I come here with mom, and I've seen you with 3 kids and your wife the whole entire time, being
The
beside
emotion-
each
that-
other.
You just missed what I
And-
said. The emotional support was there, but the rest of the journey that I had to do was with me. Mom telling me to go to her apartment on a regular basis to check things out, or to get her doctor's appointments involved, to get all the hospice rolling, to get on the phone with her insurance. That was me.
That was.
If it's falling just on your emotional output, honestly, to me, if I had a partner in my life, they'd be like, you're going through so much, baby, and I love you so much.
What she started, she did.
So
and it was-
if you didn't have these things, then I don't know what to say in your end. But in my end, it's been literally me. And only me looking out for me. Saying, Seneca, I love you, it's okay. These feelings are 100% normal. And then when I'm processing these things, and then people come in their way with their over-impacting emotional stuff, I'm there and supporting them and what they're going through, while also processing my emotions. So again, I'm not going to try to have a competition of, whose pain is greater than whose and whose support is not. But yeah, like from the moment of this, for 8 years, you've been married, you're going through this, you have a support system. If you don't, you might want to go home and negotiate the terms of your contract in your marriage. Because if I was married to somebody and I felt alone, then I would not want to be in that marriage. That's the truth. With me, I've actually been dealing with this alone. I don't have anybody walking with me through any of this. I don't have a moral support system. I just have me. And so I'm trying to process all these emotions while realizing the best friend that I had, that I called every single time I had someone there and was dealing with all the stuff, include everybody, is no longer there for me. And I have to process that. And I'm not going to, be presumed to rush through my emotions and what's next, and then try to rush to the finish line of this situation.
And
Got to
that's
process
fine.
it.
We're not here to rush you.
Just one of those.
I just found out this morning that my mom passed away. And what I'd like to do is, I told her, I said, really, I just want to be alone. I'm not a kind of guy that wants to talk about my problems. I like to sort them out and just face me and cry on my own and do me. If somebody wants to be there, then they're really going to be there and they'll just be there with me, and then that's how it's going to be. But, um,
That's what you need, then.
you know, well, look into mom, you're going to find yourself, and then look into your brother, and you'll find yourself too. And again, I'm here for you. I've been here for you the entire time. I have many times that I've been there for my brother. More times than I can count on my own. I've lost count. There's a tree right there, and I can't even count how many leaves are on that tree. But there's a lot of them. And, that's how much I've loved and been there for as many people as I possibly could be there for. And, again, we're here on this position right now, going through this together. We both just lost our mom, and I want to take it one day at a time of what that means. This isn't about anybody else. It's about us right now and what we just went through.
Yeah, and I want her home.
Well, right now her soul is no longer in her vessel, so she's home, Lon. She's at peace, and it's going to have to be one day at a time, from one day to the next. You need to believe that she is home and these things are going to work out as they are. If you're trying to rush things and you have an expectation, once again, you just assigned yourself a job and just get to it, or manage out the emotions of why you feel all these things that you feel are not happening. And then roll through the next course, which is that they are. And everything has to operate at its own volition.
I do have to get the information that they need to release so they can get started on that.
Okay. What I would like is to go through this day the way that I am, maybe make out a list of things that you need to do, and then we'll talk about them. And then we'll attack them one by one. And then we'll go from there until we reach the finish line of this situation.
Alright, brother. See you later.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
Saying enough as it is.
Well, it's okay. Are you sure that's all you want to say? That's all you came here to say, was all these things?
Well, I actually wanted you to come with me.
And what, go to your house?
Whatever you wanted to do after. I don't care.
I
Just didn't want you alone.
I just don't want to be judged, and I just,
I'm not judging.
you're my brother, Lon. If we're going to do this, it's going to be me and you. I don't want to be judged by other people.
Nobody's judging you. You're just feeling that way.
No, I was
Offered-
judged. There was situations. It takes a little bit. I never got an apology of that situation. I'm not going to be
Okay, that-
victimized, and then all of a sudden,
That's different right now. Like, what I'm just saying, the only reason why is that Sarah offered to drive because I can't. So,
and you know what?
crush.
I understand. So I suggest you, what did I just say about your supportive partner that should be there for you emotionally? You go and have that emotional support. I'm going to sit here and try to process what it means to be a son without a mother, without a fucking wife, without a girlfriend, without anybody there for me, and process that.
That's another reason why, because I even said to her, I don't want you to be alone.
But I am alone now.
No, you're not. I'm here.
I know. What do you want me to do then? To force myself into.
If you're not comfortable with going anywhere, I understand.
What do you want from me? Do you feel like you need your brother?
Probably does. But I also am being patient. I am patient. If you need this day, because I get it. You're right.
I think in this situation, I'm dealing with my own stuff that it's very difficult for me to, you know, I'm the type of guy where I will overlook my own emotions for other people, and I don't want to have to keep doing that in my life. I am here for me. I've been here for me the whole time, and I'm going to continue to be here for me from the moment I walk through your door. If you pay close attention to Seneca, Seneca's being there for Seneca. 1,000,000% have been there the whole time. And I've been there for mom, and I've been there for you, and I've been there for the children, and I was there for dad, and I've been there for everyone, even Laura. And I continue to be there for people. But in this process right now, I can tell that if we're going to be there overwhelmingly for each other, it's going to be about reminiscing about good times, not thinking about processes that how you're worried about something in the future that hasn't happened yet, that is actually just an annoying pain hemorrhoid in my ass. Because right now I just lost my mom. And if you want to go worry about those things, you can go do that. But I would much rather sit here and think about what it really means now to know that our mom has passed over on the other side and that all we really have is each other. And while you think you're alone, you have your wife, but she's never really been too kind to me from beginning day one. And you weren't there for those days. But my contract and relationship with your wife ain't about to amount to some kind of feigned observation or act that's going to make me all of a sudden believe she gives two flying fucks about me. And that's the truth. So if you want to be my brother, then you be my brother. But it ain't going to involve Oko Uno, John Lennon's fucking whatever her name is. Or Jackie Onassis, JFK's little wife there that might have blew his brains out. But the point is, I'm not going to, if this is going to be between me and you, then it's going to be between me and you. I'm not going to deal with any of that shit. Sorry, but that's the truth. I suggest me and you talk percentages and we figure out what that stuff is together. We're going to have to take it on because we're together. If you want your wife to be involved, then sorry, but
Today she was just a ride.
I understand. And I understand she's probably, I don't know. I don't know what to tell. I'm dealing with that stuff inside myself. How to forgive the reality that do people really love me or are they just faking it? And so I,
You gotta start working that out because it's both of us that do that.
yeah, I know. So I'm just showing you reflections of yourself. Like I said, you want to know Seneca, you better go deeper inside yourself and really figure it out. I mean, I know you. I know myself. I know my own emotional body and where I learned a lot of my own.
And there's one thing that I'm gonna be completely 100 fucking percent straightforward with you, and it's the same mistake I made with mom. If you are aware, just as I am 100% that you have that questioning ability, including with blood relatives, don't let it sit and fester and have its way. Because then you end up having a relationship.
I'm good, Lon.
I know. I'm just saying,
I've already seen you my whole life to learn from you. Every bit of it. Of what hurts and what not to do. I've been doing it. And whatever self-revelations you're having, I just want to pray to God and say, hallelujah. And if you're hitting dark parts of yourself, of where you start to feel like this epitome of humanity, be thankful for it, because no one's fucking perfect. And you better start to realize that. And that's why Jesus loves us so much, is that we're actually pieces of shit. And the moment you can really accept that, and really accept it, and know that, damn, this place is a gift. The breath that's in my lungs, the food I get to eat, the chocolate, the fucking life of my existence. God bless. And it flips the script on you. It really does. Because you realize that this really, I'm no better than you. I know that. I just, well, why do you think I act the way that I do? And then once you look at your actions and then consider them deeply and then act like you're talking to yourself. So how would you want to talk to yourself? How would you approach yourself? If you can't see me in you, then you definitely can't see you in me.
if you need me, call me, okay?
Okay. I love you. Hello?
Hey, Sonny.
Hey, Dad.
Hey. Hey, where you at?
I'm on the porch at Grammy's estate, your estate.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because Ron said they were going to get you.
Yeah, but the way that they came over here was like they were trying to rush me out the door to sign papers, and I'm very aggravated at them trying to manipulate and plan my tomorrows and todays before they even come. So I told them I would like to process this, and I said, if you're going to be here for me, then be here for me, and we'll reminisce about Mom, and it just kind of was about him. So, yeah, they showed up here together, and I can
Yeah.
it really rubbed me wrong, at least. And I recorded it so they, can deal with that. And they were very unhappy of how I handled the situation. But again, it's everything they're doing is, what? I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to change the subject. I'm going to alleviate from that stuff. Because, look at the mind is the Garden of Eden. And Beelzebub, what was Beelzebub? He's the Lord of the Flies, right?
Right.
So what do flies eat?
Shit.
That's right. So we don't want Beelzebub to come in our life to get us to start feeding the shit. And that's kind of how I look at that whole entire demonstration that's always coming at me from those two.
It's a good time to laugh, son. It's a good time to laugh. You know what? You know what's funny is, the mind, the brain looks in a real spiritual brain, one that does not delve into bitterness, bad language, just all the stuff that you shouldn't even be discussing or listening to. And if you got to listen to it, definitely try to think about something else. But the neurotransmitters and the dendrites and all that, they look like beautiful trees in a good productive spiritual mind. And you know, the mind that has nothing but chaos, hatred, bitterness, bad conversation, all this. It looks like uh, looks like just these scrubby plants with all these thorns sticking out of them. And every time you and this is done to a neurologist, a neuroscientist named Carolyn Leaf. And, she's got documentation on this. And she's a Christian. Whenever you go ahead and revisit these bad areas, it sends out a toxin in the brain. Pretty interesting. Anyways.
Yeah, it's really deep stuff, and I know that you're absolutely right. And it's because of that I'm now aware of my metaphysical self that, to be honest with you, it's up to me because I can't tell you who to be. It's just whether I want to be around you because now I'm accountable and responsible. And if you want to know your future, just look at the people you're hanging around with. And so now that I'm aware of this, even if I'm in a shitty environment, I would much rather stay to myself then and focus deeply on my own energy and force field and remedy of self, because they're not on the journey. If they were, they would have those kind of conversations. Lon, and I've gotten to the point where Lon doesn't pay me for therapy. He doesn't value himself, so he would definitely not value me or even know where to begin. So I'm going to tell him that if he wants to talk to me, I'm going to send him a bill, because I know that everything I'm going to do for him is going to be unvalued. I could talk to a stranger and change their life in 10 minutes, in a half hour, and feel both rewarded. They'd bless God. I'd tell them, they'd be like, how did you do this? And I'd tell him God. I'd say, God, you say, praise Jesus, praise the Holy Spirit. But
well, you know what, son, and that's so right. Jesus said that a prophet is not valued in his own county or his own city.
You're right.
They, when he spoke, they kind of looked at him like, you're the son of a carpenter. What the heck do you know?
Absolutely, Dad.
Yeah.
So how are you today? How are you holding up?
I'm okay. I got kind of feeling like I'm on edge or something. For some reason, I woke up in the middle of the night, probably about 1:30 in the morning, and I could not go back to sleep. So I got poor night's rest. And, I generally wake up at 5:30, and when it was rolling around to be 7 o'clock, somebody called me, and I was still dead sleeping.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, that never happens to me. But anyways, yeah, so I'm feeling a little, not like myself, I'm kind of a little tired feeling or something. So, anyways, yeah, I was just checking on you.
Well, it's like I'm doing everything I can to process my emotions, and I want to say thank you so much, Dad. Thank you so much, really.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because, wow, I could tell Lon and Sarah came over here, and I realized last night I went into my shadow, and I realized that I needed to forgive people who pretended to love me, because you can almost not really put full faith in love because of the idea, is it fake? Are you faking your love? So I began to forgive myself and people who fake their love, and here comes Sarah today faking complete adoration, support, love, and it was I don't know, it was to the whole situation, exactly, to me. About my mom, the whole situation, because after everything I've seen and all the things that I've heard, and They tried to take control of the situation. They wanted to load me up in the car. I thought they were going to take pictures and we might have a memorial of my mom. I thought we were going to go see my mom and maybe go do something special, but it
Where
turned.
is your mom?
I guess my mom was taken immediately out of there. She tried to tell me that it was in style. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to hear. It was unbelievable the things that she said. I couldn't even believe how insensitive it was.
In
It just
style.
in style and
In style.
listen, Sarah has blown my mind. I since the moment that I've been back now, I mean, I used to think she was a crappy mom, and I tried to warn Lon. He didn't listen to me. So now I'm done warning Lon. I want to get out of Lon's way. I'm like, I accept you as you are. You want to be with these people. Well, now Lon all of a sudden is trying to attach himself to me. We need each other. I promised Mom I would never, it's me and you. And then so he came here today and he's like, it's been me the whole time. And this and that. I was like, you know what, Lon? You've never been alone from the because if I said this is what I said. I said, if you're in a marriage of 8 years, Lon, and you feel alone, then I would renegotiate that contract of whether I would be in that marriage at all. Because you have not been alone. I've been alone. And I'm not trying to make this about me, but the fact that you're over there making it about you and how you've been alone the entire time and dealing with this between moving her stuff and going to the hospital and it's just been you and you and you. I'm done hearing it, bro. Because I've been alone. I don't have a wife. I don't have a girlfriend. My mom is my best friend. She's the one I would talk to every single day, and she's gone.
Yeah.
So
I know it.
I don't want to hear about how you're alone. And if you're alone, then I would negotiate whether you want to continue in your relationship. Because if that's how you feel, I would rather be alone than be with somebody that makes me feel alone. Well, they had nothing to say. And these guys, I mean, I have it on camera.
Did you say that to them?
Yes! Right to their face.
You did?
Yes.
I don't mean to laugh, but I love you, Seneca. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'll tell you what, you're my son.
I love you.
Oh my God. Yes.
It's always them. And then it went down to policies and insurance and then Lon's like, well, I want to make sure she's home. And I was like, you know what? Get this. Stop what you're saying right now. Because you've been trying to rush every single step. Right now, my mom is home.
Hey, and he ain't making sure of nothing. He has no friggin' charge over nothing. He don't even have charge over his own mental facility. And he's
we got to forgive him because those are parts in ourselves that we need to realize that could easily happen to us inevitably, somehow, in the script of time, could just unfold itself and give us this dish. So we need to ask ourselves, dear Lord, forgive us, one. I appreciate. I'm going to ask myself, forgive me for resenting and judging and denying these feelings. How do they feel? Oh, this is resentment. This is judgment. This is judgment against Lon. We're seeing the judgment against our own self. Oh, man, these are our own lowest forms of our own quality of humanity that's being displayed. It's terrible. I mean, Laura, from what you've seen so far, am I overreacting?
No.
Are you reading everything I'm saying right now?
Yes.
I'm not in some form of a hypnosis.
No.
I'm not batshit crazy.
No.
No. This is literally the real deal of what I've just witnessed before my very eyes. They even try to, okay, how does it make me feel? I'm fucking pissed. So, because I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Oh, man.
right.
I am hurt. So they're hurting me, and they don't care. So hurt people. Always remember that. Hurt people. Always remember that.
Right.
Hurt people. So they're making it about them, even though a lady just died inside their house. They're acting like they really give a shit. It's all about, well, we don't want this money and stuff like that. You know, we're not trying to do this, but it was a certain amount of money. And I'm like, well, I don't understand, you know? And they're like, well, and then, you know, and I'm trying to really understand the fundamental depths of what's going on.
What the heck are they talking about money for?
Exactly. Then once I realized, so I was like, hold on a second. I'm really confused. Why did you guys come here? Because I thought it was about, one, me and Lon were going to solace each other. And we were going to go over pictures about what? Is there going to be a memorial, or are we going to go and flip through the best pictures of me, Lon, and Mom together? Like, I'm confused. And then so Lon shows up with Sarah, and they're trying to like be like, well, are you ready to go? And I'm like, well, where are we going? And they're like, well, we need you to sign off on these papers, and you're now the beneficiary of these things. And I'm like, you know what? Let's back up for a second. This morning, I called my mom, I called my brother for this reason, and I find out my mom passed away. Lon, I'm trying to solace my brother, but also be there for myself. I thought Lon was going to show up here, and we were going to comfort each other, okay? Because she kept saying...
That's the way it sounded to me when I talked to Lon this morning.
And that's not what happened. He even said, he's like, well, I couldn't drive here. And I was like, then you shouldn't be here. If you couldn't drive here... Yep, if you couldn't drive here, then you shouldn't be here. You know, like, seriously. He's like, well, I didn't want to leave you alone. And I was like, well, you know what? I got breaking fucking news for you. I've been alone for 2.5. I've been alone since the moment that I left Tony. I've been alone. Okay? Like, hello.
They threw you out of their house.
Exactly! Exactly!
You know?
And that's what I said to him when he was like, I don't understand, like, why don't you want to come? And I was like, well, I don't want to, I feel, you know, basically, essentially, I've been judged. He's like, well, we're not judging you now. And I was like, you're missing the point. She's here now trying to pretend she's my friend. She's never once apologized for the way that she's treated me. She does not see where she's wrong at all. I'm supposed to just get up and get in the car and act like everything's fine. I don't think so. Maybe I want to get in the car and smoke some weed. Maybe I don't want to be judged. And so he's like, nothing's happening like that, Seneca. And it was like, you missed the boat, brother, okay? The ship is fucking sailed. You're trying to control and fix what you already did, and you're already living in the moment of now, and every decision that you're making is wrong, and you're not seeing it. You're insulting everybody. You're making it all about you. You stole my mom's last moments of her life that could have been about her, and you made it all about you to the final last moment of where it was between you and her.
Did you let him know what he did?
Oh, man.
The friggin' last pill or whatever they gave her?
Let me tell you something. I sat there, and kindly, after you reamed him out and gave him the 3rd degree, he called me like, did you call Dad? And I was like, yeah, I talked to Dad. I'm trying to calm Dad down so he doesn't get lost in his own anger and emotions and realize he's just mad at himself now, which is really you, and it doesn't matter whether it was you, he's now mad at himself, and he just needs to stay the fuck away from you. Let you roll your own dice, bro. You're fucking making your own path here. You know what I mean? And whatever you're doing, man, you're not thinking about the big picture of everything. And
he thinks Sarah's the
hey, let me tell you something. The fact that we're talking about him right now, to me, is dishonoring my mom. It was never about him. And that's what he's missing, too. He left here very upset.
He was saying that he was feeling, this morning he goes, I'm feeling like I'm really feeling guilty. They're like, well, I don't know how to challenge that one, Lon, except that, you got to go within yourself and, find forgiveness some way. I don't know what you did, and I don't know what you're talking about to bring the guilt on.
Remember what I said?
Really sure.
I sat there and I said that everything that Lon's doing, I was told by God to truly not interfere. And I know it sounds crazy, and people are going to say, you're talking to God or whatever. I swear, I don't swear. I do not swear. I am just letting you know that I said that everything that Lon is doing, he will have to suffer the consequences when he's done with the situation to stay out of it. That's all I was told. And that everything he will do, he will have to face with face value. It has nothing to do with me. Do I love my brother every step of the way? But in the process of loving Lon, well, I need to look out for Seneca first. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing. You know?
I agree, son.
Seneca matters is in the spectrum of things. Everything is insignificant, but it's significant.
The big part about this, and and I'm just gonna bring it up because it keeps on bugging me, is the fact that he went ahead and gave her that pill to put her in unconscious after you get here, after you get thrown out. So you don't have any end time with her. And I'm not saying this to rile you up or anything like that, but I'm just talking out where this anger is.
Mom had time from what I saw. And if anybody could look at the recordings that I got of Mom, here's a lady totally active running around, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's getting to her brain. It's getting to her brain. It's like, you're drugging her.
How do you know? Do you got an x-ray vision?
If you heard the conversation that I had with Sarah and Lon today, I think you would have been, just if you sat back and popped some popcorn and acted like you were watching a movie and just observed silently, I think you would have actually been like, you know what? My son is actually... And I don't mean this to boast. I mean, I think you'd be like, my son has some common motherfucking sense. This kid is totally tapped in. This kid's tapped in. And my other son is like, he's trying to live by keeping up with the Joneses and thinking that by what he has is somehow makes up his character, not by the actions of what he is. Okay? If you go over there, to not insult my brother, Lon is still immature. Lon is still the kid playing the video games and trying to establish his life based off the character on the screen and how much money he has and all these things, not realizing that the conduct of his character is actually what is hurting him. The way he treats people is actually what's hurting him. His lack of conscientiousness of his own self that has nothing to do with the world around him or his material concept or his job or his identity or trying to get, even his wife is a reflection of him. I can no longer hold up my brother by giving him advice and telling him what to do is best. He's only getting in my way and making me hinder myself, so therefore I'm responsible for my own hindrance by looking at Lon. The more that I leave Lon alone, the better I have him. And now he's chasing me, trying to follow my philosophy, and it's like, I got a whip out trying to beat him the shit off me. Leave me the fuck alone, kid. Like we're done. And that's really what it feels like.
Wow, yeah.
I told him, I said, by the time Mom dies, you're going to realize how much you missed out on trying to chase a paycheck and a dream and all these things that's not even real. I'm looking out for me. I was like, he's like this. I have it on recording. It says this. He's like, I was like, dude, Mom's not doing good. She's fucking dying. And he's like, are you trying to make me feel bad? And I was like, let me tell you something. If you feel bad for if you caring for people makes you feel bad, don't ever give a shit about me again. And I hung up the phone on him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was in the beginning. That was in the beginning. So I don't want to hear the shit. I don't want to hear his tall tales and his little fucking stories and allegories of Lon's fantasy and how he tries to band-aid and paint the picture. These kids are manipulators. No, you're the fucking manipulator, and you're trying to paint my perception before I even get to the door to try to tell me who everybody is before I get there. And it's inaccurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am upset.
When somebody tries to paint a picture of somebody else for you before you even witness things for yourself, it's a feeling of there's definite guilt there because they're already trying to have you see through their eyes.
Yes. You're right on the money.
Yeah,
You're as right as the rain coming down, watering the grass.
Yeah.
Because And that's what I realized as soon as I got down here. I started to have this amazing power of discernment over the situation, like an eagle looking down and starting to see
Right.
everybody's actions. And it's like, yeah, I am upset, and I'm sorry to tell you this stuff. I'm not sorry, but how do I put it? It pains me to tell you this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I agree, son. Yep. Yeah, there's definitely some energy that's in the air that that's definitely is not. It has nothing to do with the angel of peace. That's for sure.
Well, the more I'm around Lon, I realize Lon has made his own story and is writing it as he goes, because he's not living in the present now at all. He's already sealed my mom's fate before he got here. He's trying to write my todays. He's trying to now guide me along however I got to go. And then you should have saw Sarah. She right understood what I was saying. Lon did not like anything I was saying, because I said this to him. I was like this: whatever expectation that you have of me or anybody else, you just need to realize that's who you are, and you need to assign yourself the job and say, hooray for me. And you need to leave me or anybody else to operate on their own volition of wherever they're going to go. Well, he didn't like that, because it means that he wasn't in control of the situation of how we were moving forward. And Sarah realized right away that she had no control over the situation, and she needed to back the fuck off. Because I'm the husband she never had. Because I'm not my brother. So if she's going to be dealing with my brother, well, then who am I?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm not the guy that's going to roll over and die. I'm not going to let my wife grab the hull of my ship and narrate my compass. No way.
Yeah.
You know? She can sit in the back.
She's saying that wasn't gonna happen.
No. She just dealt with a real man all of a sudden, and she took a step up. She was telling me, nope, that's not what he's saying. You know, we should she went and sat in the car. I was like, so is this all you really have to say to me? Is this it? You got anything to say? And it's like, no. So all it was about was nothing to do with me, him, mom, hanging out, comforting each other. It was the next step. That's all it was. And you know what?
It was the money and needing you to, yeah. That's what the whole thing was to begin with.
Dear Lord, allow me to feel this pain. Forgive me if I've resented this pain or judged this pain. I allow myself to feel this pain. Thank you for this pain, Lord. Forgive me. Thank you. I send gratitude. Yeah, exactly. You know what? You trust yourself, your own intuition, you feel out deeply. You can tell everybody's story pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I love my brother, I really do, and I think that's because I love God, and I love myself, and I love everyone, and I love Jesus Christ. I love the Holy Spirit. I love the whole story. I love the testimony of Christ, and as it's unfolding before our very eyes, I love God with all my heart. So that's all I'm going to say. Lon's on his own path right now, and you know, right now I got to be there for myself. I'm very humbled that you're being there for me, and if you want, we can be there for each other.
That's it, John.
And I know you love her. You married her. You had kids with her. You know,
Yeah, that's probably where I got, you know, where the anger came up in me. You know, these people are just, I mean, just, I don't know. It's to me, just to get rid of you know, what they're feeling though is a problem. You know, instead of a beautiful passing. You know.
Well, she's going to work a bunch of miracles. I can feel that she's going to work through our lives differently. She's going to understand things more than she did before. And her soul is going to truly live on. I truly feel that better things are coming, even though this is a sad situation. She's in the know. She's in the know now. She's in the know, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say that, you know, just, you know, we got to process over this situation like a comb. We live life, and then it happens, and then we need to process life that just happened. Then that way we can go on with a better slate of life. That's why I've learned to slow down. I don't want to live so fast anymore, so dramatically,
Right.
because it takes up the mind and all this static starts and noise, and you know, you start to believe yourself, you know, like it's all real, like it's truth, and it takes away from the fundamentals. Like, and I realize Lon's sealing his own deal. He's his own inertia. He's his own writer of his own dharma. He's a gravity of his own force. So what we see as right or wrong is different than what God sees as right or wrong. So we need to look at him through the eyes of God with love and unconditional love, and try to take a step back, not in judgment, but in observation, and watch him with his own elasticity or tenacity.
You're right.
That's
those who judge will be judged.
That's what I'm trying to say. So I delivered what I had to deliver, and I can feel the weight of my own judgment, but it is so. That's it.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
You know? Careful what you say.
It's not a bad thing to tell somebody where things are at if you know where they're at.
I did the
Anyways,
best.
hey, let me call you back, son. I'm pulling up to a window here. I gotta talk to this person.
All right, Dad. I love you so
I'll call
much.
you back.
I love you. I love you. I love you.